Welcome back to the Mid-Year Mitch YouTube channel. In today's episode, I'm working on a new and improved birdcage jig, so be sure to stick around. Also, if you're new to the YouTube channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps my channel. This is the second video on building my new and improved birdcage jig. The whole idea with this jig is to build a modular jig that will hold all the dimensions of the birdcage that I care about. And if I remove one piece of it, I'll be able to replace it, and everything should stay in exactly the same place. So I borrowed a friend's birdcage that he fixed to use as a template for this. So now we're going to build the door bars, the crossbars that go between them, this pillar that will eventually tie into this windshield jig. So I have the main bar welded in here to these two plates for the door opening, and I'm starting to work on the supports that will come up and get the height from the rocker up to this bar, which will locate both of these pillars in the correct spot. And this rear one is a cage nut, so it floats in space. So if I take this guy out, I designed this so it sits on this little lip, or this, not lip, I guess it'd be a radius here. So as long as these are snug, this will sit right on that radius every time. And I checked this a bunch of times, and every time I do it, this bar is perfectly level. So these guys will come in here, and I have a washer on the bottom, so it's a larger contact area. I'm gonna set both of these up. I can't move it one-handed. I'm gonna set both of these up with the washer under it, so it's about 4.5 inches from this edge. Same with this one, and this one sits right on top of the number 2 body mount. So if I can get this off. So inside of this, I'm gonna have to kind of rig something to get this washer in here, but I want to dowel this into this location. So that way, if I put this door bar in space over top of this, I know that this pillar will be in the correct place every time, and then this pillar will be in the correct place with relation to the body mounts. So that will be good. I have this little piece of scrap in here. That way it'll gives this something to weld to. So I'll weld this from the underside and get this thing to hold nice and tight. Then I'll weld this guy onto here. And you may be wondering, well, how do you get this thing off? So to get this bar out, I'll have to take the birdcage off, and then this will be able to slide out because of that pin. It's not going to let it come out. Just another way to make sure this thing is foolproof, that once it's locked in and it's not going anywhere. If you look at our schematic here that I drew up here. So this is your windshield opening, and these are all pieces of angle iron in here. So I'd have ones that go out from like about the center point to this corner. I might run 2 across here just to make sure we get that angle, and then run one down here. I'd like to go into this radius. I may have to take this clip off. I'd like to run one to this radius and have another piece that goes into that radius. So I'm gonna cut out some corners here. That way this will hold that nice and tight. Cut that out of some steel and probably have to bend it up just a little bit. I have 4 bars going across the front, Then on the back side, you know, since it curves, I'll have to have smaller pieces that connect each of these together. So I'll probably run 2 crossbars between all of these. So the windshield structure is starting to take shape. I have the middle 2 bars welded together with these little plates on here just to fill the space in, make sure I get the angles right. I'll be able to put clamps on either side of these, top and bottom. So now it's time to work on these side bars here. Then after that, we'll start working on the center pillar and the bars that come across, and then the convertible portion will be done once that's all tied into the windshield structure. So this jig is super beefy compared to the first jig I built. This jig is designed to fit this door opening, and it's cut in a way so that way whenever I slide this pillar down, it'll catch on this edge. On this pillar, I have these legs that go down to the rocker to set the height of the door from the rocker. I have it dialed into the body mount with this pillar, so that way everything will be located correct front to back. Then I have these supports that bolt on that go across to keep this width nice and tight. It also ties into this front pillar, and this front pillar goes down from the transmission mount up into all of this just to tie everything together. And then the next video, I'm going to work on tying in this pillar to this windshield jig. This jig took a little bit longer to build than what I thought, just because every little piece had to be cut and fit, and there's just a lot of measuring, cutting, grinding, that kind of stuff. So that took a little bit of time, but next I'm going to make the supports that go out to there. So following that, I'll be building the coupe parts of the jig. So I'll have some bars that come up, probably something like that, off of this support. Maybe even like that. I don't know, I have to figure out how they're gonna look. It'll come across like that and connect back down to here. That way I can get clamps on the roof. And then this frame will connect to the frame over there, same as this, and also tying to this windshield jig. So the whole idea with this birdcage jig is to be able to have a jig that'll float in free space and hold all the dimensions. And you can take any one of these pieces out of the birdcage and replace it with another one, and everything should stay in the exact place that it was. But that's gonna do it for this video. I still have a lot more work to do on this birdcage to get the coupe section ready to go and to tie the windshield into this main pillar and then to the coupe section. So this is getting very close to being able to build a convertible birdcage from scratch, but we have coupe bird cages to fix first. So if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I have a lot of work to do, so I'll catch you guys later.